Oh, whoa. I am low there. All right. What up, people? It's your boy Chid from Good and Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is Eagle Eye, the transfer rumour show, where I talk to you about rumours and news surrounding the Arsenal. Big up to everyone that is in the chat. I'm actually starting at 7 o'clock for once. So that's pretty good. Considering I fell asleep for about an hour, I'm going to take that as a win. This heat is some energy-sapping stuff. For anyone who doesn't know, and you will know because Brits always bitch about the weather. We're just like that. We're made like that. Essentially, it is 35 degrees here, which is a little under 100 degrees Fahrenheit for you American guys. So yes, we ain't used to this kind of heat. In fact, we are in a heat wave because tomorrow is going to be exactly the same temperature. Sunday is going to be a little bit cooler. Monday maybe a little bit cooler, but still in 30s. I'm not a heat guy. The thing is, I would be a heat guy if come 8 o'clock, it just went cool all of a sudden. If it was just desert weather, I'd be all right with that. You know, cool during the night, hot during the day. They don't leave you alone at night. So it's just, that's my issue with the heat. But anyway, like I say, let me stop being a typical Brit and bitching about the weather. I'm going to take a sip of this, though. To the league on it, because I have to. Straight up. Please do stick a like on the video. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as we keep motoring, let's talk about some stories, guys. All right, let's talk about Mr. Philippe Coutinho. In fact, I've prepared some stuff. I don't normally do this, but let's do this. Phil Coutinho, in fact, it will probably work better if I go black, right? So Phil Coutinho, the 28-year-old attacking midfielder who had been linked with, obviously, at loan at Bayern Munich. I think he extended his loan at Bayern Munich as well. Well, supposedly there are stories that he was actually at London Colney today, which is quite interesting because yesterday, all the key kind of figures that talk about transfer stories were apparently told very specifically that nothing was going to happen with Phil Coutinho, that those stories are dead, that now it looks like Willian is on board. There is no need for Phil Coutinho. That was the stories that I heard as of yesterday, that those were doing the rounds. I saw people like Charlie Watts even say the same sort of thing. So I kind of thought to myself, all right, cool, the Phil Coutinho thing is more or less done and dusted. But then I kept seeing stories towards the back end of yesterday that, nope, we're still interested in him, And I just thought to myself, all right, well, let's see how it plays out. Now, it is pretty interesting to note, as I say this, the exact same thing happened with this Pepe situation. We were after Zaha for ages. Supposedly, it was a smokescreen for Pepe. Then when some people started to cotton on that Pepe might be a potential target, some of the higher-ups were asked specifically about whether Arsenal were after Nicola Pepe. They did deny it at the time. And then obviously we know what then happened. Arsenal have a habit of doing this as well. I mean, I remember very famously Arsene Wenger denying that we were ever interested in signing Santi Cazorla. I think it was literally 48 hours later we completed that deal. So just because Arsenal deny a story doesn't mean necessarily that a story does not exist. And you can understand why clubs do this. Sometimes they want to make sure that, you know, they don't jeopardize a deal. And a deal like a Phil Coutinho deal is a very tentative deal. It's one that has people on the edge. I know that a lot of Arsenal fans are quite excited by this deal. I can understand why. I can understand why, particularly more so than, say, Willian. Willian is more of a kind of workhorse, industrious type whereas Phil Coutinho is more of a kind of a creative spark. And let's face it, everybody likes an attacking midfielder. You see the way Chelsea are gushing over Kai Havertz, and rightly so. Kai Havertz could be potentially one of the best number 10s ever. Ever. I won't say ever. But one of the best number 10s at the moment in world football. Typically, Arsenal can't do that, so they've decided to take this route. I do find it interesting, but let's see where we go. But according to these recent stories that has broken in the last hour, supposedly he was at London Colney today. I'm just going to read the full story here. Phil Coutinho has been speaking with Arsenal over a possible transfer. The former Liverpool midfielder, now at Barcelona, has been linked with the Gunners in the past, with Mikel Arteta said to have big plans for him. The 28-year-old spent the 2019-20 season on loan at Bundesliga's giants Bayern Munich, and is keen to find a long-term platform for his talents, and sees the North London Giants as a strong option. The Gunner fanzine has been speaking to a well-placed source this afternoon, who said that the player and his associates have been at the club HQ, London Colney Ground, on Friday, discussing a possible move, with Arteta looking to bolster his squad. And obviously, they just go on to talk about Phil Coutinho's history. They reckon, so this bit is interesting. I'll read this bit. With Arsenal now having extra funds through their unexpected qualification through the Europa League next season after beating Chelsea in the FA Cup final, the club can now afford to sanction a fee of around £40 million for the Brazilian that Barcelona are desperate to offload. 40 million. Wow. Considering, sorry, I had to take another sip. Considering we're talking about the same team that spent 135 million on Phil Coutinho, what was it, 3-4 years ago? That will be quite the come down. I guess my question to you guys is, would you spend 40 million on a 28-year-old Phil Coutinho? It's right on the edge for me, I must admit. It's right on the edge. You guys know I'm not overly enamored with Phil Coutinho. I think it's a better signing than Willian, but I'm not overly enamored with the whole Phil Coutinho thing. I'm very uncomfortable with this whole Kia FC thing that we seem to be doing at the moment. I don't like it. I don't like the setup. I don't like where we're going with it. But I must admit, 40 million? I'd be tempted, I wouldn't want us to go above that. Because I do think also we do need to spend money. Don't get it twisted, people, because I know people are about to say it in the chat room. Yes, I agree. I think if we have 40 million to spend, then we need to be spending it on the likes of your... I'd rather spend it on the likes of your Thomas Partey's. I'd rather spend it on the likes of your Thomas Partey's, your Gabriel's, because those are the priorities. So I 100% agree with that. Don't get me wrong, but 40 million after that, maybe. Yes, I'd still rather Dominik Szoboszlai, but it doesn't seem like we're concentrating on that at the moment. There's another target that I would have if the Dominik Szoboszlai move didn't happen, and I'll come to that story in a second. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel at the moment about this Phil Coutinho thing, because I spent so long not rating this guy. But I must admit, we do need some kind of creative force, and we miss it. Listen, I don't think Mesut Ozil was as prolifically creative as people like to admit, or like to suggest, I should say. But I do think we miss that kind of person that can hit a special pass, create something. And actually, if Emile Smith-Rowe is the guy that you want to hand over the mantelpiece to long term, learning of someone like Phil Coutinho wouldn't be a bad thing. So let's see what happens. 40 million. I mean, it's very apparent that Kia is doing his utmost best to force this deal through. But let's see what happens. For now, those are the rumors that Arsenal are very interested in Phil Coutinho. Okay, right. Let's talk about another story, shall we? Let's get me back on camera. Let's get Phil off and me back on. There you go. All right, let's talk about another story here. You guys are going live in the chat room. I hope you're well. Please don't let me miss any kind of donations or anything. Let me know. Please do stick a like on the video and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Feel free to join the membership, please, guys. All right, let's talk about this young man, Joelson Fernandes. It doesn't look like the story is going anywhere. This is another Kia client. He is the 17-year-old that people dub the new Cristiano Ronaldo. Arsenal have been racking their brain to come up with anything that isn't the £41 million release clause. Initially, last week, they made a bid of about 19 million, which was rejected by Sporting. They want something a lot closer to the release clause. They are prepared to listen to offers underneath that release clause, but they want something closer to it. Arsenal, as ever, if you sell them a loaf of bread for £1, they'd want it for 50p. So they're trying to get the best deal they possibly can. I must admit, I'm nothing against the kid. I wouldn't want us to spend 40 freaking million on a 17-year-old kid. I think that is just foolhardy. So, if Kia can work some of his magic here, then I'd rather do that. Maybe something like, I wouldn't want us to spend more than 25 million on him. But Arsenal seem adamant that they really, really want him. So let's see what happens. What do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. People keep asking me, when will Aubameyang join Mr. Saka as the signed contractee? Lots of rumors about this is that apparently he's verbally agreed the move. I knew this yesterday, that everything was verbally agreed. I think there was just some technicalities that they need to discuss. But the belief is that sometime this weekend, if not Monday, we should hear something confirmed and signed and ready to go for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. But this is obviously a story that a lot of people are worried about. This is one that you've got to think that, we're in a situation where, weirdly, we have to build a team around a 31-year-old. But he carried us this season. You just don't replace goals like this, And I think, from our perspective, it's one of those exceptions where I can understand why we're doing what we're doing. 3-year contract, which means it includes next year, the year after, and the year after that, 2023. So, and the deal is set to be worth around £250,000 a week, which is about 50 to 60. I think it's like 60 grand more than he's on now. So we're not talking about someone who's asking for a crazy amount, to be fair to him. So let's see what happens. Okay. No further developments really with Guendouzi, other than Villarreal look like they're the favourites to get him. Emre is obviously desperate to hold on to him. So we'll see what happens there. Guendouzi, for me, I would rather he went via cash. I don't like the idea of him going as just someone who's just like on loan and then he has a year left and then he goes for a lot cheaper than he should have gone for. So I don't like that. But, at the same time, it may just come to a point of, well, we need this guy off the books one way or another, so let's just get him off the books. I think he is a lot of the reason for this young man's sale. And yes, you guys could probably hear it. Hold on. You guys could probably hear it in my voice yesterday. I am not happy about this. Ainsley Maitland-Niles has obviously been made available for a sale. You're probably thinking, all right, Chick, well, what's the surprise here? Ainsley Maitland-Niles said a couple of months ago that he wanted to go for not playing a lot of football and not having the trust of Arteta. Well, seemingly he's gained that trust of Arteta as being the utility man, not necessarily a master of any one particular position, but being a jack of all trades. The problem with a jack of all trades is you become quite valuable, but not necessarily to the team you're playing for. We've seen it before with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, another one who we just seem to use to plug a gap. And every time he starts to make progress in that position, his position was changed. And eventually we sold him to Liverpool for admittedly a lot of money. But you just think to yourself, bro, why couldn't we just keep him though? And I had that exact same feeling with Oxlade-Chamberlain. He was a player I always liked, especially if you're a long-term listener of mine, you know this already. I always liked Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. And if you speak to a Liverpool fan now, they find him to be such a useful player, and they would never part with him now. I feel like we're making that same stupid mistake when Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Someone who I think could be so good in that right-back's position if we just gave him a chance. Arteta, to be fair to him, went to bat. You know, clearly he's been impressed with Ainsley Maitland-Niles the last couple of months, and he went to bat in terms of the board meeting for the board where they're deciding on players that they can sell. The problem is, and I can understand it, the problem is that you look at our players, a lot of them are over 30. They're not going to command a lot of value. You know, you think if you're going to get rid of Socrates now, I mean, he's determined to stay. So he may not even get a fee. You got Mustafi, who's in the last year of his contract. Admittedly, he's 28, 29. So maybe he might command 10 million or so. You got Rob Holding. He's got a couple of years left on his contract. He's 25 years old. So that should be a decent amount of money. Same thing with Callum Chambers, who I think is 25, 26 now. He's got a couple of years left on his contract. So, but he's also got a long-term injury they're trying to recover from, which is also why they're talking about selling Hector Bellerin. But that one I think we definitely need to do. But I digress. In terms of Ainsley Maitland-Niles, we know the teams that are interested in him at the moment. Palace, Brighton. I think you're going to start to see high-caliber teams come in for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Wouldn't surprise me if Liverpool came in for him, maybe as a bench player. Whether he'll want to go from one bench to another is a good question. I could definitely see someone like an Everton coming in for him, a Wolves coming in for him, a Leicester. I think Leicester would be a really good move for him, actually. I don't know who's replacing at Leicester, but again, I could see that being a really good move. So it's a shame. For me, this is one of them ones where this is why I wish someone like a David O'Leary was on that board. Because there's no way David O'Leary is on that board. He's suggested to sell Ainsley Maitland-Niles. But we have the people we have on the board. And they're running the club the way they're running it. I'm not happy about it. You guys know this, but I'm just sick of bitching. But it is what it is. Arsenal have placed a £30 million fee on him. For me, I'm fine with that. If we're going to sell him, we might try and get as much money as possible for him. He's got 3 years left in his contract. So we're not under any kind of pressure. If we get derisory offers, we could just reject it, keep him, look to sell him next summer if they're still committed to doing that. So let's see. I'm personally hoping they sell Bellerin and then realise what they got in Ainsley Maitland-Niles. That's what I'm hoping. But it is what it is. All right. I've tried to hold off as much as I can. Let's talk about this man. Houssem Aouar. Now, you guys know I talk about Dominik Szoboszlai a lot, or Szoboszlai, as Lee would say, a lot. He's a player I think is technically excellent. Plays for Red Bull Salzburg, 19 to 20 years old, scored 12 goals, set on 16 assists. I think he's an absolute fucking machine, right? And I've always said Arsenal could just do with someone like that. Someone who's in midfield, who can play in a couple of different positions in midfield, technically proficient, young enough that you can mould. And particularly with someone like Guendouzi leaving, you could get someone who's just a bigger prospect, if not bigger, who actually produces. That's what I like about Szoboszlai. And I'm keeping about Szoboszlai's name out there. There's only one midfielder, one creative midfielder that would have me more excited than Dominik Szoboszlai, and that is this man, Houssem Aouar. This guy is technically brilliant. Sits as a number 8. I personally believe he has all the attributes to be a number 10 if he really wants to. He is so good. He's so good. Lots of people believe that he's the person that makes Lyon tick. Because Lyon has this tendency of selling a lot of their big stars, and yet no matter who leaves, this motherfucker keeps making them tick. And I think we need someone like that. Contrary to people's belief, I don't think that is Granit Xhaka. But I do think it could be this guy. And I think if you're going to lose an Enzi Maitland-Niles, you're going to lose a Lucas Torreira, who I'm going to come to in a second. You're going to lose a Guendouzi. These are a lot of central midfield guys who like getting on the ball and like trying to make stuff happen. You need to start bringing some in. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you rate him. Joe Willock is not that guy. I'm sorry. He ain't that guy. Whereas I think this kid could be. Very, very honestly, you guys know this, especially I've done a video about central midfielders, my Ching Knows Best video series about central midfielders. Check that out if you haven't already. This guy was my choice. It was my absolute choice. Supposedly Juventus are also after him. City are after him. So we got big guys, big players that are after him. He's always been an admirer of Arsenal. So it doesn't mean that we would be completely out of the running. Obviously, Lyon at the moment, although they're still in the Champions League, ironically, I think it is against Juventus, I believe. The belief is that they'll be knocked out, and I don't think they're in Europe because obviously the French league concluded early, didn't it? And I'm pretty sure they were out of the European places. So Lyon will be looking to make some sales soon, you would have thought. And this guy will be top of that list. But let me promise you, if we do get him, my gosh, he's so good. So good. But again, what do you guys think? I think he's 21 years old. He's either 20 or 21 years old. Very young, super young. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Me personally, I'd love us to make some kind of Guendouzi Aouar swap. But if you're Guendouzi, why would you go to Lyon? At least with Villarreal, you're going to Villarreal because you know the manager will play you. Lyon, there's no carrot there for Guendouzi. So, but what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. I'm going to talk about this guy now. Rattling off stories now, aren't I? Let's talk about Gabriel. You guys know I like him a lot. I'm not going to butcher his last name. But Gabriel, 22 years old, Lille centre-back, highly coveted now. Lots of teams after him. Arsenal are supposedly the front runners for his signature. The story that I heard yesterday was that Arsenal have essentially, in principle, agreed a payment structure of £18 million up front for Gabriel. And then I think it's another 9 million in add-ons. So in principle, we do have something on the table for Gabriel. We haven't spoken to him yet in terms of personal details or anything. Supposedly, he's very interested in coming. So much so, I wonder if I could show you this. Can I show you this? Because I completely forgot I should have showed you this. Let me show you something. Because when stuff like this happens, you always think to yourself, I wonder what that is. So let me see if I can get it up. See, I'm not going to be able to get it up now. Hella pause for the way this conversation's gone. Oh, annoyingly, I can't find it. Anyway, his brother has taken a photo in the Arsenal kit. Seems very deliberate to me. Why would you do that? Amid a lot of speculation. But he's put it on his Instagram. So that usually, I won't go as far as to say that you know what that means. But, I think things like that, you always think to yourself, why have you done that? Now, some people will point out the fact that, Mario Cardi's wife did the exact same thing when he was being linked with Arsenal. Yeah, but them lot are known for playing games. They are known for playing games. I think I do find it curious that, the family have or his brother has done this amid links to Arsenal. He's a player I like. He's a defender I like. I think he's someone that I think we could make a lot of, in terms of defenders that are out there, if you wanted to bring in a defender, I don't think any of us are against the idea of bringing in a defender in. You could do far worse than this guy. Strong, combative, can tackle. He's Brazilian, so he can pass the ball. He's got a decent pace. Somebody asked me that the other day. I wouldn't call him pacey per se, but I damn sure wouldn't call him slow either. I think he's a decent enough player. What do you guys think? I guess is my question to you. Do you think there's anything in it, especially in terms of the brother? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. I thought I could find it, but annoyingly I can't. It's pissing me off. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. All right. Where am I going to go now? Let's talk about this story. James Rodriguez. It seems like every time this guy is being linked with an exit to Real Madrid. First of all, how long was his contract at Madrid? Because he's seemingly been linked with an exit for years. Seems like every summer transfer window, my man's being linked with an exit. And then it comes to next summer and he's still there. I'm like, flipping heck, how long was your contract, G? But James Rodriguez is being linked with a move to Arsenal, as he always is. This is just one of them, for me, is one of these Kalou stories. Remember Kalou from Chelsea and how long we were being linked with a story with Kalou? Just seems like every single summer his agent decides to link him with us. Rodriguez is now 28 years old, I believe. Still struggling to prove himself. For me, he had one really good World Cup and has been living off that ever since. For me, this is just not a player I'd rate. It's not a player I rate at all. And I think that is indicative of the fact that he's valued at 35 million and no one has taken a punt. In fact, the last time I heard about this story, Everton were very, very much interested in him. And then I don't know what happened after that. I think Everton are in the business of trying to find the guys that should have done something and haven't ended up doing anything, and are trying to see if they can revive the career at Everton. Because I noticed they're also being linked with Lamar today. So they're clearly trying to do something over there where they bring in all these high-profile players. They've obviously got a high-profile manager. Their league position definitely would disappoint them. So they're trying to bring in some more higher caliber of player. But for me, not for me. We've got enough problems with this Kia situation without adding it to with someone like Rodriguez. This is another Ozil to me. Just someone I have zero interest in seeing at the club. But again, what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. I've got a new name we've been linked to. Wilmar Barrios. Does anyone know who Wilmar Barrios is? Well, he plays for Zenit St. Petersburg. He's 26 years old. You may recognize him if you are an avid watcher of England games. Because the last time Colombia played England, he was the big focal point of that game. Someone who just let's just say made himself a bit of a bit of a target, shall we say? I know they call him the Diego Costa of defensive midfielders, but he's 26 years old, plays for Zenit St. Petersburg, and there's no other way of putting it. This man has a habit of collecting yellow cards. He's had 12 yellow cards all season. That's right, I did not stutter. 12 yellow cards all season. This is a guy who very much is not shy about being a little dirty, being a little, putting in a little tackle here and there, putting in a scratch here and there. But he is a guy that a lot of people rate highly. So much so that Newcastle put in a bid of £15.5 million for him very recently. Supposedly, was not United. Who is it that said that were linked with him the other day? I think it was someone like Bayern or someone like that. Were linked with a bid with him the other day. So he's someone that a lot of the top teams are looking at very closely. And Arsenal are obviously looking at him as an alternative to Thomas Partey should they not be able to secure the Thomas Partey move. For me, I'm sure you guys guessed this already. If you know me, you would guess this. You would guess I will say this. I'm not a big fan of the idea of the move for him. Just not for me. Not this guy. I just feel like there are other options that make better sense to me than a move like this for him. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not a fan of this move. I think he's a decent enough player. I vaguely remember him in that game, but I remember him for scratching up people. I don't really remember him for anything particularly positive outside of that. But again, maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? Is there anyone that's actually seen more of him that actually has any more information? But in my opinion, nah, I'm not interested in this. But again, let me know what you guys think. One last thing I forgot. I just saw this story a second ago, and that's Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Leeds are very much interested in a swoop for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. So again, in terms of Leeds and them being interested in Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I can completely understand. Whether they'll pay 30 million for him is a completely separate question. But Ainsley Maitland-Niles being linked with a move to Leeds. And I just realized I completely forgot to talk about this young man because I've not put him on my list. Hold on 1 second. This is the biggest story of the day and I don't talk about it. And that is this young man, Mr. Lucas Torreira, is being linked with a move to Italy as usual. He came out with a statement, I think it was yesterday, something like that. And he basically said that if I have to leave, it will be for the best. We've known that for about 2 years now, that Lucas Torreira has wanted to leave Arsenal pretty much as soon as he arrived here. Last summer, he was very, very close to said move. And then, to be honest with you, I don't really know what happened. I don't know why that move didn't come through for him. Subsequently, because he hasn't moved, we've seen his form this season deteriorate quickly. I've never seen people do such a 180 on Lucas Torreira. I remember when this story originally came out last year, used to have people in my chat room argue the shit out of me and saying, no, don't sell him at all costs. Because I'll be honest, I like Torreira. I've always felt he's a little overrated, though. Always. I think people like how tenacious he is because he often puts in a last-minute tackle and this, that, the other. But one thing I've said for about a year and a half is, to me, actually it's because tactically he's inept. I could see why managers drop him. The one thing I'll give Xhaka, and that's the only thing I'll give Xhaka, is I think tactically that boy knows how to like if you completely are explicit with Xhaka about how you want him to play, generally he will understand it and try to play to those instructions. And actually, I think we've seen that from Granit Xhaka this season, and that's why the consistency has improved with Granit Xhaka. Torreira is not like that at all. My man is like a headless chicken and will run everywhere. And I think people confused that initially. People thought to themselves, oh, well, finally we got a Sanchez in the middle of the park who's a bit like Kante. But if you watch Kante play football, Kante ain't doing that headless chicken shit. He's not doing that shit. My man reads the game perfectly. That is why he's so good in this position. If you come in his zone, he's got you. Other than that, he ain't chasing you around the park. Whereas with Torreira, it's like a headless chicken. And more often than not, will actually leave Granit Xhaka quite exposed sometimes. And ironically enough, I think that is where Ceballos has actually excelled, because to me, he's had a much better understanding of how to play a position next to Granit Xhaka than Torreira has. So actually, it's one of those tactical switches that I actually agree with. So I've always said, for me, I've said it for a year and a half, sell him. If we can get someone better, like a Partey in, an Ndidi in, this is at the time I said that, an Ndidi in or someone like that, sell him. Especially, when we're trying to haggle for Thomas Partey. If we can get Torreira out of the door and get Partey in, I'll be all for that every single day of the week. I wouldn't even fucking think about it. Sorry, there's a fly flying around here. It's really pissing me off. Might have to chase it around the room in a second. So yeah, I'm literally almost. I'm at the point now with him where I'm just like, all right, whatever. Just I'd rather you just go. If you're that desperate to go, then go. That's kind of my attitude. So we'll see what happens with Torreira, but at the moment he's talking about leaving. Obviously, he moved to Arsenal in 2018, but he's just not been integral to the team since. Anyway, he basically said this: I have a contract with the club, and I have to respect it. Obviously, if I have to leave, it'll be for the best. So that's his way of saying, listen, I'll respect it if I have to stay, but if I leave, it'll be for the best. So he obviously is keen on leaving. He's not getting a lot of game time. We need Thomas Partey. It's a situation that makes sense for all. Now we'll have to see who comes in for him. The manager that he wants to play for, Rolf, I've forgotten his name, his second name. Supposedly his favourite to be Torino manager. So Torreira is open to joining Torino. Obviously, AC Milan have been long-term admirers of him. They're the bigger team. So he may be more tempted to join AC Milan. But we'll see where he goes. But I think, for me, if you're looking to raise cash, I mean, spoiler alert, he's on my chopping block this week. And I know that's not going to be a popular one. But I'm going to try and break it down, the reasons as to why Lucas Torreira should be sold from Arsenal Football Club. So we'll see what happens. Okay, I think that is pretty much that. So let me come into the chat, see what you lot are saying. Please do slap a like on the video. Once again, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. 200 of you beautiful people are watching. So please do stick a like on that video. There you go. That's the name. That's the name of the manager that wants Torreira. So we'll see what happens. I haven't missed any donations, have I? Nope, nothing. All right, cool. So yeah, 200 people, you guys watching. Please do slap a like on the video. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's get cracking. I want Willian and Coutinho. Yeah, Willian, I've got. There's nothing really new that's happened with Willian. There's a belief that everything is more or less done and dusted. I've got a feeling that they're trying to announce Aubameyang and Willian together. Obviously, Arsenal taking a bit of a kick in for their decision to make 55 people redundant. In addition to the fact that they're hearing that the squad are pissed about the fact that, they were promised that if they were taking pay cuts, that no one's job would be affected. Now, I must admit, I have been quite a defender of the club over these 55 redundancies. If there is people that should be pissed, it should be those players. Especially if they were promised that, if they were to take pay cuts, that, they would. Someone's about to put something in my bin. I can see them. Sneaky fuck, I can see you. If they were to take pay cuts, that they would be that they would protect those 55 jobs would be protected. Now I could definitely see them being pissed at that. So I think Arsenal will want a much more positive week, and you can't get more positive than your captain who's carried you through the season signing a new contract and a new signing, albeit that new signing is Willian. And listen, no disrespect to Willian, please don't misinterpret what I'm saying, guys. I've seen a lot of people say, "Cheap." I thought you said you thought Willian was good. I do think he's a good player. I do. But I also don't think, to me, for many different reasons, just because I think he's a good player doesn't mean I want him for the club. I'm not saying Willian is crap. For me, I just don't like the side. I don't like this Kia. I don't like the direction the club is heading into. I heard, I was listening to Charlie Watts today, and he was talking about the fact that not only is Francis Kagawa gone, but so has Brian McDermott, so has a lot of the recruitment team. Now, you're probably sat there thinking, yeah, but it's not like they've been amazing. Don't get it twisted. I agree. Things needed to change in all areas of that club. But I just feel like to abandon scouting, essentially, and to go with this agent-based way of recruiting players, I don't like it. I don't like it. It doesn't sit well with me. But it is what it is. What do you guys think? Am I crazy? Let me know what you think. Take Willian over Nelson and Eddie. Yeah, but I'd sell those two anyway. I'd sell those two anyway. It still doesn't affect my decision over Willian. Am I joining Lee for the wash along? No, I'm not. I've got a couple of things I need to do this evening. One of which is I've got to catch my boys. I've basically got to decide which one I'm doing. My intention today was I was going to move the combat show, which is at 9:30. I was going to move it to tomorrow, and I was going to go out with the boys. Then I fell asleep, and now I'm actually in the mood to do the show. I'm going out with the boys. No offense to the boys, I'm just not in the mood of experiencing that heat. So I'm still com-si-com-saring it. So we'll see. Hi Max, I hope you're well. I see you. Paramount, to be honest, Draxler only has 1 year left. Not happy at PSG. I have a feeling he would sue. I said, oh no. See, Draxler is another one I put in that James Rodriguez bracket. No. There's just yet again another one. Chid, Partey or Aubameyang? Shit. They're different types of players, though. But if you ask me who's the priority, I would say Partey. But I want both. Ah, thank you, Eric. I appreciate that, my brother. I know you wouldn't lie like that. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. GSB versus Khabib. It's going to be a discussion point for us whenever we end up doing the show. Oh, do you know what? We're doing the show tonight. 9:30, we're doing the show tonight. As usual. Why am I disrupting everybody because of me being a bit undecided? I think once we do the show, what I might do is I might, ask the boys to kind of keep it brief and then I'll head over to my mate's house after. I missed the first part of your comments. All right, so tell me what the first part is. Chig, Zanilio for 60 million or Hosim Awura for 50? Hosim Awura. I know people love them, some of that Zanilio guy. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but I think Hosim Awura I think represents better value for money. Aaron Webster, we must keep executing Niles at all costs. Wherever Arteta has played him, he's done a good job. We could tie him down to one position. Bro. I've been saying this. You know what, Stephen? Unbelievably, I'm still going Awura. I know people love them some Van der Beek, and he's another one. Very good player. I'm still going Awura. Pep replied to Gabriel's Insta post saying that if you speak English, which would mean that if you've been talking behind the scenes, Agent Pep bringing in Gabriel home. This is what he should be doing, though, bro. That's what he should be doing. That's what he absolutely should be doing. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love Van der Beek. But if you gave me a choice between one of the two, I'd go Awura. I think you lot don't understand how good that kid is. Oh, he's so good. You know me, as much as I have been damn near noshing off Szoboszlai, I'm forgetting Szoboszlai's name if Awura comes in. That's how good I think his ceiling could be. Ching, Martinelli or Rodrigo? Martinelli. First part of the question. Is there any news on media about other suspects like Carrasco, Draxler, Ryan Fraser, Nelson? No, the only thing I've heard over the last couple of days was about Ryan Fraser, and that was literally Arsenal have ended their interest. Oh, excuse me. Oh, man, what was that? Arsenal and Spurs have ended their interest in Ryan Fraser. Not heard anything about Joelson Martins. Not heard anything about Draxler. Not heard anything about Carrasco. Like, didn't Carrasco go back to Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid? I think he's happy there, as far as I know. And I think he was on loan, but he's still gone back there. Dembele or Zaha. You know what? Thank you, Stephen. So I did hear another story, and I don't know if this is just jumping off the bandwagon of another story. Obviously, Aubameyang was very keen on someone like Ousmane Dembele coming into the club. You guys know I commented on this story 2 days ago, and I said I actually quite like him. I still like him. I still think he'd be a really good addition if you could get him at the right price. Well, supposedly, he's been made available and offered to Arsenal as someone who could potentially be of interest to us. And if he is, that we should absolutely look to go and get him. I must admit, I find it difficult to believe that we'll bring Willian on and then we'd also go and get a Dembele. It's like we didn't need a winner before all this. But we're going to bring in two more, and you still got Pepe there, you still got Saka there, you still got Nelson there. It don't make no sense, man. So yeah, I don't see that happening. Out of the two, I'd rather Dembele. I'm not a Zaha guy, but the difference is that I completely understand why people like him. He has his attributes. They're just not for me. Yes. Although I think that might be hard because, remember, it's not like Leon have been playing competitive football for the last couple of months. So that may not be a fair gauge. But yes, Chris, you're on point. No watch along for Champions League matches? We definitely will be on that. I'm just not doing a watch along for Leeds because I literally have two things to do, and within that I have to choose between one or the other. So yeah. So if Lee is doing a match today, I'm just not doing that one. I'm so glad to see Santi and Dennis in management. Well, Santi has gone to what is that? He's gone to is it Saudi Arabia? He's gone to anyway. He's gone for that paycheck, so he's still got one more year of playing before he goes into management. But I would love the idea of Dennis coming on board in the meantime. Chris, he controlled the midfield to a T. He reminds me a lot of Van Aldren, but better. I think he's better than Van Aldren. And I like Van Aldren. I think he's better. There is no chance of that happening. No chance. Why would Chelsea let him go to us? No chance of that happening. Thank you, Stephen, my guy. Chinese. My other half is the other way around. Am I beefing with Lee? Because when I was on his show yesterday, mind you, we were 1 goal, 6 assists in 12 Champions League games. I'm telling he's a number 8 though. Remember that. It's a number 8. So goals and assists is not even necessarily a fair way of judging him. Big up, Shig. I hope you're well. Hope you're well, Gary. My not so Scottish friend. Kia FC. Word on Thiago Almada. People always ask you this. Nope, nothing. The last I saw him, he was being linked with Newcastle, but that was when Newcastle were about to be taken over. So since that's dropped through, nothing. Like him, it's a shame. Don't worry, Bamba. I'm about to wrap up. Literally 3-4 more minutes. I'm about to wrap up. Why? Why do you want to see us fight? Could Willie not okay in midfield? Evan, try that sentence again. Come to India. Oh, listen, I would trust any Indian person to cook me a curry. Don't get it twisted. Just the ones around here, no. I'd trust any Indian to cook me a curry, for sure. And I'd trust the wifey, to be fair. She does a banging curry. Australian food or Indian? I've not had Australian food. Not had it. But you lot probably would have nicer food. Chick, can you see what I've been saying about Partey? No, brother. He's in the Champions League. Relax, be easy. Because you thought your first dismissal was, well, why would Partey want to come to us? So already you've been proven wrong because clearly he has interest. Otherwise, he would have denied that ages ago. So let's see. He's in the Champions League. Let us see. No, not today. Not today. Got a couple of things I need to do today. I meant play. Could Willian not play in the midfield? You could play anywhere in that midfield. Anywhere. I don't know. I feel like either he's going to take Pepe's place at the side or he's going to do so. I hope he's not a detriment to Saka. Let me put it that way. I had a kangaroo once. It wasn't bad. If you could have Partey or Koulibaly, Partey. Chig, best you try Durban curry from South Africa. So I've got a South African friend called Michelle. She's been trying to get me over for a brie for a long time. I know you all know what I mean when I say that. Or brie. Sorry, excuse me, a brie. So I know you all know what I mean when I say that. Chick, you and Liam, my guy, you know that, right? Should hope so, Max. I should hope so. I've seen you on other shows, though, so you might say it's just something you say to us, isn't it? I believe that Agent Kia is his own scouting network. No need to keep ours. Really, is that what we've come to? That we're relying on an agent to get players? One agent. If you don't see an issue with that, I don't know what to tell you, my guy. It's all about the money. If Part A and Awura want high wages, they'll join us. Saka should play for Nigeria. I hear that. Koulibaly is overrated. I don't think he's overrated. I still think he's a top defender. I think he's levels above what we already have. But I must admit, I did watch this clip of Saha having Koulibaly on his arse a few times. I'm like, what is going on? So that's surprising. That really did surprise me. But I still think he is a top defender. Don't let it twist him. Who have you known longer, Kenny Kane or Ola? Ola. No, Ola longer. But both of them are brothers. Saka must pick Nigeria. I'm not saying no. I'm even trying to jinx it. I don't want to say nothing. You notice I've not made one single comment towards that. I'm not trying to jinx shit. All right, 3 more minutes and I'm out of here. 3 more minutes and I'm out of here. And then you guys head over to Lee's channel, who's doing a watch along. Go and bombard his chat and tell him Chick sent you. Oh, Chris, if that's the case, if that's your source, I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of the way they clickbait. I'm not a fan of it. I've told that story many times, Bambo. It's too long of a story to tell in 2 minutes. I'd like Saka to play for England. We need a player like him. Terry, do you think he'll choose England or do you think he'll choose Nigeria? That's a good question for you. Osherman or Edward? Good question. I pick Edward, to be honest. I think he's played for more types, different levels in terms of leagues and climates as well. All right, one more question and I'm out. Once again, before you press that X button and head over to Lee's channel, please do hit that like button. You guys have been crushing the likes recently. Don't let up, though. Please keep that up. It helps the show get noticed. It helps algorithms, traction, you name it. But moreover, it helps people notice the channel, hit that subscribe button, and potentially hit that membership button. I've got a lot more things coming out in the membership. For those people keep asking, I will be doing a Saturday members stream. So we'll be talking transfer stories. We'll be talking FA Cup final. We'll be talking future stuff. Again, it won't be long because I've got a lot of stuff I'm doing on Saturday for various different channels. So, but that will be something I am doing. I've got a Chig Knows Best video series, a defensive midfielder one that will drop on Saturday. I'm recording a chopping block for Sunday. You now know who that chopping block is going to be about. So that will drop on Sunday, but it'll drop on Saturday for the members. I've got potentially a gym vlog. I'm going to the gym on Saturday. So potentially I'm doing my very first one for the members. So again, check that out. Feel free to become a member to check that one out. Lots of stuff coming. And also the combat show tonight, 9:30. We're going to be touching on boxing. We're going to be touching on UFC. We're going to be touching on potential matchups. We're going to be touching on the Frank Warren offer. We're going to be doing all sorts. So make sure you please do watch the combat show at 9:30. Do I think Medley is worth keeping? No, I don't. I don't rate him at all. All right, guys. I'm going to head up out of here. But please do slap a like on this video. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, peace out. A-Town down. Take care. Enjoy your Friday night. Manage this heat as best as you can. Go and bombard Lee's channel now and tell him I sent you. Peace.